Oh well. All right. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for checking out the Ultimate Jax guide. This is my second attempt at this guide because I finally got my Elgato working, and there's also been a few updates to it as well. Check out the description in this video for a link to the written guide over at Test Your Might. It covers everything that's in this video with full transcripts of the combos and all that good stuff. So if you don't want to hear me rambling for 6 hours, give that a shot. So let's see. So this little pink area in the corner of my webcam's driving me crazy, but whatever. Okay, so anyway, let's just jump right on into it. So this is part 1 of the guide, and it's going to cover all of Jax's normals, all of his hits and his strings, what makes them good, when to use them, that kind of stuff. So let's just get right on into it. So we're going to start with his standing one, which is an amazing poke. It's 6 frames. It is a high, so it can be crouched, but block mode, dance, duck. It'll still hit if they're blocking, so it loses a tiny bit of range. It's actually go. But yeah, for the most part, if they're blocking, it'll still connect. So it's a 6 frame, almost like a 6 frame mid if they're blocking. Fortunately, if she does stop blocking, then it'll whiff every time, which means it loses out to low pokes. Like if she's trying to down one me and I use that, her down one will go under and hit me. But otherwise, it is a wonderful move. Just a wonderful starter. You're not going to be using one by itself because it is -2, I believe. Yeah, it's -2. So it's okay to throw it every now and then, especially once you get them used to your longer strings. You might poke them with a 1 and then throw or something. But for the most part, you're going to be using it to go into 1-1. All right. Now 1-1. And again, if you're not familiar with the notation, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the on a PlayStation controller, it's square, triangle, X and O. And I'll include that in the video, maybe. It's easy. Look up any site on how to play fighting games, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's easy. So square is 1, triangle is 2, X is 3, and O is 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So anyway, so 1-1 is his little 2-hit attack. Now this is one of his best strings, hands down, and the reason is that second hit is a mid, which comes out on the 15th frame. I believe 15th frame is right. Let me we'll check. Sorry, as always, have to reset my controller at least once every 8 minutes because it is a third-party controller on the PlayStation, and the PlayStation is a horrible system. Let's see. So that is a 6-frame startup. This comes out on the 9th frame. So yes, 15 frames. Okay. The second hit is a mid, which means that even if that one whiffs and they're crouching and not blocking, that second hit will still hit. Which is very important, and we'll cover a lot of that in his general strategy section. But just know that the second hit is a mid that comes out on the 15th frame. It's +2 on block, which means, if they're still blocking, you can basically just kind of chain that together, and there's really nothing they can do against it until they finally try to down poke or backdash or just get out of it. If they press buttons, they're gonna get hit. Let's see. Now this is where it's really important is, on block it's +2, which is great. You can get a free throw after that. You can do all sorts of pressure follow-ups, but on hit, it's +27, which for an idea of how plus that is, this is how you can test any frame data in the game. Movement mode, jump. I hold up, look how much earlier I jump than she does. So that's +27 frames of advantage right there. Which means, I can walk up, I can do a 50-50 combo between her back 3, which is a low, or her back 2, which is an overhead, and they have to eat it, and they have to. So really your goal with Jax is to bop them with that little just 2-hit string, because every time you hit it, you get a free 50-50, and especially in the corner, that's like 40% damage. So 1-1, just use that string all the time, 1-1. All right, and so finally, the way you can kind of mix your opponent up and keep them on their toes is 1-1, 1-1-1. All right, because a lot of times if you do just 1-1 and keep doing stuff afterwards, then a smart opponent is going to start trying to low poke out of it or armor through or things like that. So if you start using 111, even though you only get 10% damage, does end in an overhead. It's a decent string. It's -9 on block, so you got to be kind of careful. But that lets them know that you can do a 3-hit string, and so it kind of they're never sure when to press a button. All right, so it's just a great string to end early. So instead of, you got 111, which gets that, knocks them towards the corner. I can't remember the hit advantage on 111. Hit advantage 26. That's actually enough time to kind of run in and get your mix-ups going. So even if you hit with 111, it's still pretty good. I think that's a hard knockdown too. Roll mode on. Okay, yeah. Oh no, it's not a hard knockdown because she rolled. Okay, but anyway, so 1-1 is great, and then just use 1-1-1 to kind of keep them on their toes, knock them towards the corner, and get some hit advantage. Okay. Next, the only other thing off of his 1 that you want to use is his 1-2-3. This move is fantastic. It looks like there's a gap there before you hit because that kick is so slow, but there's not. You always want to cancel this into a special just because it is -17 on block naked. And on hit, it's only +4. So you always want to cancel it into gotcha grab or dash punch or anything else. It's really easy, 23% meterless damage. That last hit is a low. In the corner, you can get some really good damage off of it, especially because it's low into overhead. 39% meterless damage off of a low into overhead mix up. It's pretty cool. And you can actually, that is high, medium, low. You can actually cancel that early into the overhead dash punch to keep them guessing even more. So instead of blocking low, then they have to block overhead, and you still get 36%. So it's a great way. It's just a total guess. You gotta be careful because that overhead dash punch is very unsafe, and we'll cover that in the next section of the guide. But just know that 1-2-3 and 1-2 overhead dash punch is a great mix-up. Let's see. Oh, the other important thing is that 1-2 string out of the 1-2-3. That second hit is a mid, and it comes out on the 12th frame, which means that 1-2 can break any armored move that is slower than 12 frames. Like if Kung Jin is waking up with armor and you just do 1-2, it'll beat out his armor. So it's great. That's one of his best. That and 1-1. 1-1 can beat out anything that's slower than 15 frames. That'll beat out anything that is slower than 12 frames. And they do some good damage. Alright, so next is his forward 2. This is the famous Jack string. It's arguably his best string. I like the 1-1, but forward 2 is very important because it's his main footsie tool. Alright, from all the way back here, yeah, there we go. You can get in really quickly and get something started. It's 13 frames, so it's not the fastest move, but considering the range, it's pretty fast. It's totally neutral on block, and it can anti-air. Like if I set her to jump forward, let's see. You can straight up anti-air with it. Some decent, 28% meterless mid-screen damage. It's pretty good. It's +12 on hit. So if you do hit with it, you get to keep doing whatever you want to do. His back 3 is 14 frames and his back 2 is 17 frames. 18 frames, yeah. So there is a gap there that they can armor through, but if you hit with it, most of the time people are going to be blocking anyway. But that also, if you hit with that and then do that, that's only a 1 frame gap that they have to react. So if they do try to press buttons and mess it up, you'll end up hitting with that, and that's what you really want to do. But anyway, let's see. So after you hit with that, you can step forward and throw. You can do all sorts of good things. So this is a great, just forward 2 is a great normal to throw out. Unlike 1, you don't really want to throw that out. You're going to be doing 1-1. You do want to just throw out a forward 2. It's just a great move to just toss out there. The only thing you do need to watch out for is it is a mid-hitting attack, but it loses to all low-profile attacks. So if she just pokes, it'll whiff. Here. Oh my god. Let's see. Well, of course I'm beating the computer. But if a real player sees you coming, they can very easily poke out of it. Down fours work a little better. But just know that it is susceptible to low attacks. They can very easily keep you out with low attacks. Now the extension is the forward 1-2. Now this one's even better because it's +1 on block. So just like that, the 1-1, which is +2, you can do like forward 1-2, and if they block it, you get a throw. You can kind of keep your mix-ups going. But it's +17 on hit, which means that's only a 1 frame gap, and that is no gap. They have to respect it. So every time you hit with that, it's another 50-50 mix-up. All right. It is special cancelable too. So like if they're blocking and they know that they block, let's see, always. All right, so you hit them with that, you hit them with that, and you like go into it again. Reset my controller again. And they start poking after that forward 2-1. Then you can start canceling it into like down back 1 or dash punch. Just watch out because dash punch can be low poked because it's a high, and we'll cover that in the special section. But those are really only 2 safe options to cancel it into, are the gotcha grab and dash punch. Oh, and energy wave. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot that one. Which again, those are all high, so they can be low poked out of, but if you do like forward 2-1 energy wave, that leaves you +7, which we'll cover that in the special section. But just know it is special cancelable, so just like, doing 1-1-1 to keep your opponent on your toes, you want to do forward 2-1 and cancel it every now and then, but you also want to get that +1 advantage and just do the forward 1-2. I actually recommend doing that more than canceling it, just because you get more. Like if you hit with that, then you get a free 50-50 mix up. Whereas if I hit with that, I get, some minor damage. All right. Next is, I can't believe this is in the guide, is forward 2-1-2. All right. This is a really important move. Now the only problem with it is that it is the end of that string. So anytime they block a forward 2-1-2, the pressure is reversed. The good news is it's only -5 on block, which means they can't punish it. They can just reverse the pressure, and if you block correctly, or even backdash. A lot of times, if you do forward 2-1-2 and they block it, you can backdash, and there's nothing they can do against it, depending on what, if their move doesn't advance far enough to catch that backdash, then they can't do anything against it. Okay. Now the important thing about it is that forward 2-1-2 by itself. See here. All right, it's +43 hit advantage, which means every time you do it, you get a free off the ground pound, which is 13%. So let's see, what is that? That's 12 and 13, so that's 25% damage. There's literally nothing they can do. If you hit with that, you get a free meter burn ground pound. There's nothing they can do to avoid it. The other thing you can do is press down 2-4. Which is some raw damage. It kind of ends your pressure, like it leaves you in basically a neutral situation. The frame data says -5, but I don't believe, yeah, -4 on hit. I don't believe that's correct. Like if I set her to jump. Yeah, I jumped slightly before her. I think Jax actually might be +4 instead of -4. So hopefully they fix the frame data soon. But anyway, the good thing about that is that it's nice, easy damage, but it's also an option select, which if you're not familiar with what that means that if you basically, if the game is in a certain state, then it'll do the best thing for you. So in this case, if she's blocking and I press the down 2-4, it won't come out. All right. So it just doesn't come out, but if it hits, it will come out and do the damage. Typically, so what is that? That's 12. So you're only getting 6% from that forward 2-4. I recommend just doing naked 1-2-1s, because if they hit, that's more. See how that first hit whiffed? That means I actually got there too early. So every time you hit with that, especially if they don't have meter, they have to eat your mix up. So I recommend just standard forward 2-1-2 instead of the forward 2-1-2 down 2-4, unless you just need to close out a round or something. All right. Next, this is back 1-2-1. This is a mid-hitting attack with deceptive range. Like, it looks like it doesn't go very far, but it'll actually hit from around here. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, all the way back there it'll connect. Now it is +1 on block, so that's pretty good in and of itself. It deals 14%. Let's see, +35 on hit, which means every time you do it, yep, you get free pressure. And what I just did there was a back 3 into meter burn gotcha grab. That'll break pretty much any wake up in the game. We'll cover that in the general strategy section. All right, and that also means that you get a free, if you do the timing right, you get a free ground pound. So that's 27% right there. I need to experiment with this string more. Right now I feel like he has better options, but it can still be useful to throw out there every now and then. You know, this could be a fantastic string. Honestly, I just need to use it more. Okay. Next is his 2-3-2 string, and the only reason I'm going to cover this is because I think it looks like a good string, and Jax players might be tempted to use it, but it's not. Okay, and this is why. So it's a 9-frame high into a low into an overhead. So they have to block it low, then they have to block it high, right? Wrong. It actually has gaps in it. In between every single hit. So what we can do is if we set her to reversal attack, doesn't matter what, do forces charge, all right? So if I do a regular string, like, see how she blocks all hits? That's because there's no gaps in there. But if I do 2-3, she's able to armor through. If I do 2-3, let's see, hard to hit with just the last two. All right, see, so there's a gap in there as well. And I think that gap's actually big enough for like Melina to just use her non-armored roll. It gets -8, something like that. So anyway, you don't want to be using that string, at least not a whole lot. It might be okay to throw out every now and then, but if you get predictable with it, your opponent can just straight up armor through. So I don't recommend his 2-3-2 string. Okay. The next is back 2, and this is one of his big moves, all right? So right off the bat, it's an 18-frame overhead, so it's fairly slow, especially for the range. You know, look at that, it can't hit from there. You gotta be, you know, almost touching your opponent for it to really hit. It's -8 on block, so it is, I'd call it unsafe, but you're really not gonna eat a full combo punish. You're gonna eat, you know, a poke. Something, which against Jax is awful because he can poke you and then get that, you know, 50-50 mixed up. So it is special cancelable, so you can do like overhead into gotcha grab. The important thing to remember is that at 2 is an option select, which means if she's blocking and I do back 2, down back 1, nothing will come out, all right? And so that's really important because that means that I can always cancel it into overhead dash without fear of retribution. If she blocks it on -8, if it hits, I get my mix up. All right. Let's see. Okay, so now canceling into that overhead from back 2 is a little wonky. There's actually a little shortcut though, since the back forward 2, or what is it? Yeah, back forward 2 down. Dumb move. Dumb input. Starts with the back, and back 2 starts with the back. You can actually just press back 2, forward 2, down. Okay. And what you have to do is you delay the down, so it's back 2, forward 2, and then down after the forward 2 or after the back 2 hits. Reset my controller again. And that way you can do it every time. It's back 2, forward 2, wait a second, and then press down. Okay. You want to be doing that a lot. Just because if it's hit, you get that. You know, if it's blocked, then no, it doesn't matter what you cancel into. It's just a blocked back 2, and you're -8. So pretty much always cancel into your overhead dash punch from there. Let's see how much damage this does. That's 22%. That's 17, but then you get, it leaves you so advantaged that you can get a free meter burn ground pound. So that'd be 30% damage. Let's see. Yep, so that'd be 30% damage, or you get your free run up into pressure. Okay, so that's all just based on tapping the back two. He can actually charge it if you press it for just a second. Like literally, just don't tap it. Just press it, and he will do that. I mean, that's from way back here. He gets that 9% overhead into a hard knockdown. The hit advantage on that is pretty crazy. I don't know if this is accurate. It says 21. That sounds about right. So yeah, anytime you hit with that, like they have to respect your mix up. They're at minus 21. Just watch out for armored wake ups. And then the other important thing about that is it's +2 on block instead of -8. So if she does block it, look where it leaves him. If I'm all the way back here and I need to get in, you're, you know, I think you're within range of, there we go, so that's 15. So they'd have 13 frames to interrupt that. And you're kind of out here, so they can't really poke back. So, but they are within range of your mix-ups. Like if I do that and then try to naked back 2, that'll hit. If I do that and a naked back 3, that'll hit. So they're within range of your mix-ups after a blocked, charged back 2. So it's a really great move to use. It's a very dominating move. Finally, if you charge it, like fully charge it, hold it as long as it'll let you, it'll do a it'll launch. All right, so it's a little hard to actually hit people with this. A lot of people, they see you charging and sometimes they'll just press a button. The good news is that is +2 on block as well. So if they do see you charging that, a lot of players will press the button just to try to get out of that +2 on block. And if it does hit, you get a little combo. Let's see if I can remember it. There we go. So a nice 35% mid-screen meterless, which for Jax is a big deal. I did it too late. All right. And you can also, if you have trouble with that combo I just did, you can, let's see, neutral jump. You get 30, you only lose 4%, and it's a much easier combo. I do recommend going for the other one because it's really not that hard. You know, I just woke up. I haven't even touched this game in a few days, and you know, I'm hitting it. So it's not that hard. Just practice it. Next is Jax's uppercut, his down 2, down triangle on PlayStation. He has a really good uppercut. If you look at that hitbox, like where his hand goes, well, and look at that range. Like that just connect. So that actually does go slightly like behind his head. So if people are jumping over him, a lot of times that'll connect and send them way up and actually allow him to combo off of it, which is crazy. It's a 7-frame startup. So I mean, literally on reaction, if someone's jumping over, you just press down 2, and 9 times out of 10, you're gonna knock them out of the air. It's just a great punishment tool. You do want to be careful using it on the ground because it is -15 on block. So if she blocks that, you're gonna eat a full combo. So don't use it as a like poke or a footsie tool. Mainly use it as an anti-air. If someone's jumping in on you or jumping over you, crossing you up, just press down 2 and bam, you know, make them respect it. If you do ever anti-air with it, movement mode, jump forward. See. You get a free, my timing is not good. There we go, you get a free that ground quake. There we go. So what is that? +27. Or not +27, 27% damage. One thing I did forget now that I got her jumping over me, with his standing 1, it makes a great anti-air. People are trying to cross you up like that, don't let them. Just press standing 1. Same with jump ins. Yeah, so standing 1 is a great anti-air. Sorry, a little backtracking here. And we'll cover that in his general strategy section as well, anti-airing with standing 1. Next is his 3. This isn't a normal button that I don't really use, but I need to because it does have some good applications. All right, it's an 11 frame high, so it can actually be used to get some good meterless mid-screen damage going. Which Jax is kind of in need of. So 29% meterless from an 11 frame move is decent. It's also great in the corner because it's an overhead. If you do 3 forward 4, that other one I did was 3 back 2. Launcher is 3 back 2, 3 forward 4 is an overhead. And the good thing about that is that it is only -5, I believe. -4, all right? So as opposed to that, which is -17, you're gonna get full combo punish every time they block that. They can't block that, okay? And so even though that only leads to 33% damage as opposed to like 42% that you can get from something like this, it's still much safer. So, you know, I'd rather lose 9% damage and be totally safe than, you know, risk it against characters that can punish it. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so that's about it for his standing 3. It is a high, so you have to be careful. It will hit against some blocking opponents, but overall it's just a punishment move. If they use something that's more than -7, you can do it, but I think he does have better options mid-screen. Just, you know, every now and then use it in the corner if you want that overhead. All right, next is his forward 3. You know, this is a great move. I admittedly don't use it nearly as much as I should. It's a 10 frame mid that's very dominant. It beats out a lot of stuff. It has crazy range. I think it'll connect from basically jump range. Yeah, there we go, look at that. From all the way back here, just immediately you're in. The only problem is it's -22 on block, so you always want to cancel it into something, but the only problem with that is, back to her reversals, that's gotcha grab, that's dash punch,
like father, like daughter.
Energy wave, which didn't even start to come out. So whenever you cancel that into a special, it literally, there's a gap that they can get through. So anytime they block a forward 3, a smart opponent can get out of it, basically. It's so because of that, it's primarily used as a whiff punisher, which means if like Jackie uses a normal and misses, I can get a really easy punish with that forward 3. Same with specials. Like some people hit you with specials that are relatively safe, like -12, and leave you outside of punishment range. So you can get that going, because if you hit with it, it will combo. So yeah, mainly, you know, don't use it as a block string. Use it as a whiff punisher and to punish unsafe specials that leave you too far out of range, and that just takes practice. So forward 3, it's a great move. Just be careful with it because it is pretty damn unsafe. Next is his back 3. All right, so we already covered his back 2, which is an overhead. This is his low. It is, unless they've changed it, it's 14 frames. Yeah, 14 frame startup, -14 on block, but you're never just gonna use a naked back 3. Which is back X. All right, so it's got decent startup at that 14. It actually has decent range. I think it'll hit, yeah, from way back here, even though it's like a little stomp. Yeah, so it has really good range, deceptive range, I would say. And it's back 3-4 is the string you'll usually be using from it. The only thing you have to be careful of is that will whiff mid-screen if you try to cancel it in a gotcha grab, but a meter burn gotcha grab will not. 32% 1 bar mid-screen is not horrible. So yeah, back 3-4 is how you get Jax's like highest damage, especially in the corner. You know, that's your 42% combo. You can actually do a little higher, but that's the most consistent combo I've been using. So I like that one. You only lose like a % or 2. But you can also do just back 3 into the overhead, which makes it more difficult to block. And the other thing you can do off of that back 3 is back 3 down 2. All right, so this one does have a gap as well. If she armors between those two, then she can punish it. But it is a low into overhead. It's actually a fairly tight punish, I believe. Oh, sorry, and there's also a gap between the back 3-4. So if they're blocking, be careful. I've never seen it get armored through, but it's technically possible. But sorry, back to the back 3 down 2. So that's a low into overhead. It's a hard knockdown. It's only 12% damage, but that back 2 is plus 2 on block. All right, and check this out. Bam. All right, so from all the way back, he might. Yeah, there we go. So that range is just crazy. And once you do get your opponent respecting that, you can start, from back here. I could do like a back 3 to get them to jump, and then anti-air with a forward 2 or something. Let's see. Back 3, down 2. Here we go. So it's plus 18 on hit, plus 2 on block. Which means if I do hit with that, he has to respect, like I actually did that back 3 too early, which is why it whiffed. So she's got to respect my wake up game. I don't know why that whiffed though. And if she blocks it, block mode, always. It leaves you outside of their poke range, but you can get like a down 4. Jax is down 4. A lot of his stuff leaves him at the tip of his down 4 range, which is great because like down 4 energy wave is really good. Down 4 into overhead punch is unsafe. It's risky, but it actually works quite a lot because that down 4 tricks people into crouching low for a split second, which is all you need. All right. Next, this is down 1. Jax has a really good poke in his down 1. It's 7 frames. It's only -5 on block, so it's safe. It is, if they do block it, you got to watch out for their counter poke. But it works. It's also a really effective anti-air. If we get her jumping in again. Yeah, you can get some good damage off of it. Some nice easy damage. But this is something I don't really use outside of combos, but Jax is the only character as far as I know that has a string off of his down 1. Oh, it's also his down 1 is a mid. It's not a low, it is a mid, but that's okay because it still does what it needs to do. All right, but his down 1 too, down 1 down 2 as a lot of people put it, is the only down 1 string in the game as far as I know. It's -7 on block, which means it is technically punishable. And he can cancel it into any of his specials, just like a regular. His down 1, he can cancel as well. So it can catch players off guard. It's the hit advantage on it actually. Down 1, 2. Hit advantage is 23. So that's, if you do hit with that, they've got to eat your mix up, which is great. Let's see. The only problem is that there is a gap and kind of an error with it in that, all right, if I hit with a 1-1, it counts as a 2-hit combo. If I hit with down 1, down 2, it doesn't. And what that means is that if I set her to say auto block, which means, all right, see, she got hit by both of those. If I do down 1, down 2, she actually blocks the 2 mid-string. All right. Which means not only is there a gap in there that they can armor through, but that 2 is really never gonna hit. If they, if they see themselves get hit and press block, then that'll be blocked and leave you at -7. So, the plus 23 on hit is pretty good, but it's not worth it in my opinion. It's a very, very risky move. The only real benefit to this move that I like is that it causes Jax to kind of duck walk towards the opponent. So like if I set Jackie to do her thing, full screen here. All right. No, you don't. No, you don't. Then bam. So it can allow you to kind of close some ground against high projectiles. It is, careful because what's the whiff recovery on there? Recovery is 18 frames, so you are vulnerable for 18 frames when you do it. Just be careful, but that's one use of it. Also forgot to cover with his down one. That's plus 15 frames anyway. So anytime you do hit with that, you can get a free throw. You can kind of get whatever you want. All right. His down 4 is just like his down 1 with better range. It is slower. It's 9 frames, but it can connect from here. All right. So that's just a great move to throw out. It looks kind of slow, but it's not. It's a 9 frame move. Cancel it into whatever you want. It's not a true combo there. I think it doesn't actually link. So I don't recommend canceling it into Gotcha Grab, but do cancel it into Energy Wave for a good block string. Because that Energy Wave is plus 7 on hit, or on block, plus 10 on hit. Okay, it's also a great down 4 because a lot of down 4s in this game are really punishable, like minus 15, minus 12. Jax's is only minus 4. So you just always want to be throwing that out. It's a great kind of barrier to put up, especially like if I was against another Jax and I just did down 4s, he would have a really hard time getting his forward 2-1 pressure started. All right, next is his jump 3. Jax has a really solid jump 3. It has 12 active frames, which what that means is that if you look at his move list, you got 2 active frames. That's 9. That's his uppercut is really good, but like 2 active frames, 3. His forward kick has 6. So he actually has got some very solid moves, but most moves are going to be around 2 and 3, maybe 4 active frames. Jax actually has a lot that are higher than that, which is pretty sweet. And so like if you look at like that, it's 2 active frames, all right? That's 2. This has 12, well, which means it is 6 times that. All right, 6 times more active than that, which means you can basically just throw it out and it'll hang out there. It'll just stay on the screen, kind of like Reptile's force balls. You know how you throw out a force ball and it just stays on the screen? That's active frames. That's how long it's active. So 12 active frames is great. That means you just throw it out and it's just gonna stay out there. It's a very dominant move. It beats out a lot of stuff. Uppercuts, a lot of traditional anti-airs. Like Jax can't anti-air a jump kick. He can sometimes uppercut them, but a lot of times they'll still win out. So jump kick, even though it doesn't lead to combos like a jump, a jump punch, you still want to be using it, especially in the corner, because it actually does lead to a combo. 33%. All right. It also, let's see, the hitbox on it kind of is like leads to his back elbow. It's like entirely under him. He jumps, see how he's got like his front leg out, his back leg curled up behind him, and his elbow sticking out. That hitbox actually goes back slightly behind his leg to his elbow. Let's see. It's kind of hard to set up, but that is where it goes. Let's see, it takes priority against pretty much everything. It's hard to tell what the frames are exactly. Just because the frame data for jumping kicks in NRS games is always wrong. Just any jumping attack. Just know that it's not -3 on block. I mean, maybe if you hit them at like the very tip top of their heads it is. But if you look, let's do another frame data test. So we'll set her to jump. And we'll set block to always. See, I jump before she does. So that's approximately +3, I'd say. +3 or 4 on block. On hit, it's gonna be a lot better. Hit advantage 50. I don't know if that's right. Oops. Oh, maybe, yeah, that's quite a bit of a hit advantage. So yeah, anytime you hit with that, you get free mix-ups. Great. So yeah, use his jump 3 a lot. It's really great. You can combo off it if you hit about waist level or lower mid screen. You just do back forward 2 into dash punch. What you want to do is like when you do the kick, like when you press 3, just press back forward 2 and he'll automatically do it. I'm taking my hands off the keyboard as soon as I put it in. There, off the hitbox. Let's see. So you just do it as all one motion and he'll automatically do the dash punch as soon as he lands. It is 3 back forward 2 and he'll do it. If you do anti-air with it, you do the same thing and that dash punch will always connect. This, if I hit too high, it'll whiff. If I hit low enough, it'll hit. Oh, you know. But if you anti-air with it, that'll always connect. And we already did the jump 3 against a cornered opponent, leads to 33% damage, and we'll cover that combo in the combo section. Finally, his jump 1. Now he's got jump 1 and jump 2. That jump 2 is really weird. I don't use it. I like his jump 1 because see how it kind of goes straight down. You can actually do some, I don't know, it works great. A lot of people like try to down 1 jump overs, but his jump 1, since it does go like straight down like that, can actually beat out a lot of that. So it's just a solid move. It does have decent range. Yeah, and it combos into everything. Every time you hit with a jump 1, of course that's not comboing. Gotta do it low. There we go. Every time you hit with a jump 1, it's a free mix-up, even on block, I believe. What is a jump 1? Yeah, +2 on block. Supposedly, again, that's gonna vary based on where you hit them. But yeah, every time you hit with it, it's a mix-up between that back 3 and that back 2. So jump in 1 is great to use. Just be careful because, you know, some people are very good at anti-airing, and jump 1s are more vulnerable than jump 3s to anti-air. Alright, it's mostly good for like cross-ups, I'd say. If I cross her up. But see, yeah, that back 2 didn't connect. The back 3 always will. The back 2, the timing is a little stricter. There we go, it connected that time. That's a little weird. Let's see, if you do anti-air with a jump 1, forward, get a nice little combo off of it. 30% from an anti-air jump 1, and it's really easy. You have all the time in the world to do it. There we go. And so that covers it. Those are Jax's normals. Those are the ones that you want to be using. You know, he has a couple of other strings and things that just really aren't worth it. So those are the ones you want to be focused on. Those are the ones that'll get you wins, you know. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and start making the next video right now on his specials, which will cover all of his good special moves, you know, when to use them, all that good stuff. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. Feel free to subscribe on here, follow me on Test Your Mind, follow my Twitch channel, all that good stuff. I'm always, you know, picking up new characters and breaking them down like this. So anyway, thanks for watching.